For years, viewers saw Al Roker and Deborah Roberts as the picture of stability, a beloved television power couple whose lives seemed perfectly balanced between demanding careers, family devotion, and the warm, steady presence they brought into millions of homes each morning. Al, with his signature optimism and humor, was the man who could brighten the bleakest weather forecast. Deborah, with her award-winning journalism and commanding presence, was the epitome of professionalism and compassion. Their interviews were polished, their public moments effortless, and their bond appeared unshakable. But behind that polished exterior, this fictionalized story imagines a chapter many fans never saw. A chapter shaped by emotional strain, internal pressure, and a confession that changes everything. Al's hidden struggle. In this dramatized narrative, Al reveals something he never showed the public. Despite his reassuring smile, he admits he has been carrying emotional weight heavier than he could have imagined. He describes nights of quiet frustration, days where the demands of work and home blurred together, and moments where he questioned parts of his personal life he had once felt certain about. To the world, he was unshakable. But inside, he was reaching an emotional edge he never expected to face. What fans didn't know is that being married to someone as respected and driven as Deborah came with unspoken expectations. Expectations that built pressure in ways Al hadn't fully understood. The weight of Deborah's world. Deborah's career, as imagined in this story, is fast-paced, intense, and constantly evolving. Covering global crises, national stories, and the human experiences behind them can take an emotional toll, and sometimes those burdens followed her home. Al describes how the emotional load of her work, tragedies, conflicts, and the pressures of getting the story right would spill into their personal life. Suddenly, home didn't feel like the sanctuary it once was. It felt like an extension of the newsroom, a place where tension lingered long after the camera stopped rolling. Al admits he often felt pulled into problems that weren't really theirs as a couple, but became part of the air they breathed. Feeling overshadowed. Though Al is a household name himself, this fictionalized version of him confesses to sometimes feeling overshadowed by Deborah's stature in journalistic circles. He felt his choices, personal and professional, were being held up against the high expectations surrounding her. And even for someone as accomplished as Al, that comparison slowly chipped away at his confidence. He admits he felt pressure to meet a standard he never asked for, and the weight of that pressure quietly grew heavier with each passing year. Parallel lives in the same home. Al shares that the lifestyle he once cherished, the spontaneity, the cozy evenings, and the simple joy of being together, gradually faded. Their schedules became demanding, their time together became sparse. They were still under the same roof, but living in parallel worlds, crossing paths only during events, holidays, or the quiet moments that felt increasingly rare. He confesses he sometimes felt like a guest in his own marriage, someone trying to keep pace with a life that kept speeding ahead without him. The breaking point. In this dramatized telling, the breaking point comes when Al realizes he has been silencing his own needs for too long. He has been strong for everyone, the show, the audience, his family, but not for himself. When he finally speaks up behind closed doors, the conversation turns raw and vulnerable. And for the first time, he allows himself to be human. Fans in this fictional narrative are stunned that someone as steady and composed as Al Roker could reach such emotional exhaustion. But it is this honesty that resonates most deeply. The reaction. Within this dramatized world, the reaction from fans is explosive. Some are shocked, some feel for Deborah, some sympathize with Al, and many recognize that even the strongest marriages face invisible storms, especially when both partners are public figures with enormous responsibilities. People debate whether Al has given up too much of himself, or whether this is simply what happens when two powerful careers intertwine. But through it all, one truth rises to the surface. Even the most admired couples have moments when they feel lost. A new chapter. In this fictional story, Al's confession becomes a turning point. He focuses on boundaries, on communication, on rediscovering parts of himself he set aside for years. This new chapter isn't defined by television fame, award-winning careers, or public expectations. It's defined by authenticity, emotional honesty, and the courage to rebuild from within. And fans, moved by his vulnerability, believe this could be the beginning of a stronger, more grounded version of himself. If you want more powerful stories like this one, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Thank you for watching. There is much more ahead.